It was the wedding day of Amir and Fatima. A mother's dream came true. But for Amir's mother, Maryam, it was a nightmare. Maryam had her heart set on her only son marrying Tahira, a very religious and obedient girl from a prestigious family. But Amir had fallen in love with Fatima, a very brazen and opinionated girl who openly spoke her mind. Amir clearly had eyes for no other. What was meant to be, Maryam kept saying under her breath. Maryam was a widow, and, as it is the custom, she would live with her son and daughter-in-law. After the honeymoon, the three started their life together. From the beginning, Fatima resented Maryam's presence in what Fatima considered her home. Maryam tried being helpful with the cooking and household chores, but was seen as interfering. Fatima felt smothered by her mother-in-law's presence and was threatened by her expertise in the kitchen and how organized she was with the household duties. Eventually, Maryam decided to avoid Fatima and just stay in her room. One day, Amir heard his mother sobbing, and she confided in him how badly Fatima treated her. He promised his mother he would talk to his young bride. Amir took Fatima out for a surprise dinner at one of her favorite restaurants and tried discussing her relationship with his mother, but Fatima wasn't having any of it. She told Amir she found the situation intolerable and threatened to end the marriage. Amir felt completely helpless and felt he had nowhere to turn. He hoped in time the two women he loved could work it out. Perhaps with a baby in the home, things would change for the better. One afternoon, Fatima left the house to meet a friend, but instead went to see her doctor, a lifetime friend. She discussed in depth her unhappiness at home and how she wished her mother-in-law were dead. The wise old doctor, after some thought, gave Fatima a vial of liquid. He told her it was poison and to put a few drops in Maryam's food or drink every day. He said, "She should be dead in 6 months, but there is a caveat. In order for the plan to work, you must be exceptionally nice, kind, and respectful to your mother-in-law. Accept her help and guidance. Perhaps learn from her and have peace in the household. That way, no one will ever suspect that you had anything to do with her death." Fatima was very relieved and did exactly as she was told. Every day, she put a few drops from the vial in Maryam's food. The rest of the time, she allowed Maryam to help her, first with the cooking. She even learned how to make Amir's favorite food, and then with the household duties too. Before Fatima knew it, she looked forward to her mother-in-law's help and guidance. They worked well together, and sometimes Amir swore he could hear them laughing. Fatima continued to pour a few drops from the vial in Maryam's food until one day she realized she loved her mother-in-law and would be lost without her. She rushed back to the doctor and begged him for an antidote. He sadly replied that it was too late. He calculated Maryam would probably never meet her grandchild. Yes, Fatima was pregnant. Fatima burst into tears and demanded him to do something, anything. It was then that the wise old doctor dried her tears and explained, "When a doctor graduates, he takes an oath to do no harm. There was never any poison in the vial. The poison was in your heart, and I hoped with time you would turn that poison into love for your mother-in-law. If you want love, kindness and respect, then you must treat others the same way. Now, you are hearing a new life, and think how wonderful and joyous it will be for you to pass that lesson on to your child.
A man named Mr. Anderson just retired as an elementary school teacher. He is 60 years old and living in some nasty apartments. He gets to his room and sees a pile of bills stacked on the kitchen counter. He is severely in debt because he is barely making a living teaching. The thing is that he doesn't care about the money because he loves doing his profession. His retirement money is only going to last him a couple years, but then after that, he is screwed. On his way home after his last day of teaching, he is approached by a man who looks at him and says, "You don't remember me, do you?" Mr. Anderson is confused because he does not know the man. He still stares at Mr. Anderson and offers him a ride home in his limo. Mr. Anderson looks concerned because he doesn't know the guy, but still goes with him in the limo since he has nothing to lose. It is a 30-minute ride to a secret location. The limo approaches a gated community and gets let in with ease. Mr. Anderson is still very confused because he doesn't know if he's safe. The limo approaches a huge mansion with a luxurious car parked in front of it. The man gets out of the limo with him. They both walk in front of the house and stop next to the car. He reaches into his pocket and grabs some keys. They are indeed car keys, and heads them over to Mr. Anderson, but he does not accept the keys. The man looks at him and says, "Look, Mr. Anderson, please take this as a gift from me to you." Then he starts to tell a story. An elementary school teacher who goes by the name of Mr. Anderson was talking to his kids about an upcoming field trip. He was 30 years old at the time. He teaches his class, and at the end of the day, he reminds all the kids to bring $5 for the field trip, which takes place the next day. The next day, he heads to school for the field trip. He waits outside the school bus for his kids. The kids start to line up in front of the bus, eager to get on. Mr. Anderson takes the $5 from all the kids before they step foot in the bus. Every kid is giving him the $5 until it reaches the last kid in line. The last kid in line goes by the name of Jimmy. Jimmy states, "Hi, Mr. Anderson. I don't have $5 because my parents don't have money. I can go home if you need me to." Mr. Anderson looks at Jimmy and sees in his facial expressions that he really wants to go on the field trip. So, he takes out his wallet and grabs a $5 bill and gives it to him. Jimmy hands back the $5 to him and hops in the bus. "Yeah, it's Jimmy. Remember the poor kid that couldn't afford to go on that field trip, but you gave him the $5 so he could go?" Now that Jimmy guy is standing right in front of Mr. Anderson to pay back this good. I know it was only $5 for you then, but it was my whole life. Later, I graduated college and started my own business. I have been making millions recently, and it's finally time I pay you back. I know this is a lot of money for just $5, but I want to make sure you are stable for the rest of your life. Mr. Anderson is in complete shock as he sees that the house and car is his. They both give each other a warmful hug. Then Mr. Anderson takes the keys and goes inside his house. This story teaches us how to be loyal to others. When someone is fortunate enough to receive a favor, it should always be paid back to that person no matter how long it takes.
Every time the mom drops off her daughter, Lucy, at school, she gives her $2 to use at school. Lucy grabs the money and hops out of the car as the mom speeds away. Mom barely has time to take her daughter to school, so she must rush to work. At the end of the day, Mom is serving dinner to Lucy. While they are eating, both are talking. Mom asks how school was, and Lucy responds, "It was good. I met a new student today. His name is Tony." Mom gets out her phone from her pocket, ignoring what Lucy just said. She starts to scroll on social media. Lucy starts to talk more about her day, and her mom completely ignores her. It is now time to clean up the table and wash the dishes. Mom quickly does this as Lucy goes into the living room to start her homework. Lucy asks her mom to help on a difficult math question she is stuck on. Mom says, "Ask your teacher tomorrow. I am too tired." Lucy gets frustrated, so she starts to play with her Barbies instead of doing her homework. Lucy asks, "Can you play Barbies with me?" Mom finishes up the dishes and plays with her for about 5 minutes. She gets bored and gets back on her phone scrolling through social media. The next day is the same routine, giving Lucy $2 before she gets out of the car to go to school. Mom speeds away from the school. Nighttime comes by again. Mom has dinner ready and asks Lucy how school was. Lucy proceeds to tell her about an amazing day she had at the zoo. But there is Mom still not paying attention to her because she is on her phone. They both clean up the table after they eat, but then suddenly Lucy asks, "Mom, can I have $20? "What do you need this $20 for?" "If you need it for a dress, we will go to the store tomorrow to buy one." But Lucy insists to have $20. Mom gets extremely frustrated because she doesn't know why she needs this money. "No, you can't have $20 because I need to pay rent, the Wi-Fi, the water bill, and other things you don't even know about. I barely make $13 an hour, so I need to save every single dollar I can get," says the mom. Lucy runs to her room as tears flow down her face. Mom starts to feel bad, so she goes to her room and gives Lucy the $20. Lucy takes out a pillowcase and puts it with the other money she has saved up. Mom notices the money and starts to shout, "Whose money is that? Did you steal from me? Did you steal from your friends?" Lucy looks at her mom in a confused way. Lucy takes out the money and lays it on her bed. Lucy says, "Look, Mom, I know that you're a very hard-working person. I would never steal from you or anyone ever. I appreciate that you work hard to be able to support me, but I need you to be there for me. You are always on your phone or at work, so we never have time for each other. Every day you give me $2. I spend one and keep the other. Now I have $55 saved up. Tomorrow I don't have school, and I was hoping you can call off work. I'm going to give you the $55 to stay with me, but I needed the $20 so it can be a completely paid day for you. Mom, I need you home. I miss you. Mom starts to realize that she isn't in her daughter's life that much. She immediately calls out of work for the next day. She then says, "I'm sorry that I'm never there, but it's going to change now. I promise. I missed you too. I love you, my baby." Mom gives Lucy a warm hug and lays down with her on the bed, watching a movie. This story teaches us that there's always time to be with family. No matter what you are going through in life, you will always make time for the ones you love the most.
A man named Leo is getting down to business at work. He continues to stare at his computer to figure out how to successfully send out a business order. His phone rings. "Hey Leo, I just wanted to let you know that dinner will be ready by 6 p.m. I hope you can get out of work early. Your daughter and son are waiting for you," says Leo's wife. Leo says, "Why are you interrupting me while I'm at work? You know I'm super backed up on paperwork. I'll be home by 10 p.m. Leo hangs up the phone call and continues to work. Around 8 p.m., Leo is shown at the bar with several of his co-workers drinking, laughing, and having a good time. Leo comes home to a messy kitchen where the dishes are piled up in the sink. Leo's wife is asleep on the couch. Leo walks over and wakes her up. "Why aren't the dishes done?" exclaims Leo. Leo's wife says, "Sorry, I fell asleep on the couch watching TV." Leo shouts, "You never do anything around the house. You always just sleep all day." Leo's daughter and son come out of their bedrooms due to the shouting. Leo quickly tells them to go to sleep and to go back to bed. The next day, there are clean clothes on the bed, cooked food, the house is clean, and Leo still finds a way to shout at his wife. Leo gets home from work, swinging the front door open and breaking part of the wall. Leo exclaims, "Why are you just sitting on the couch again? I work hard every day providing for my family, and this is what you do all day?" Leo's wife says, "I literally cleaned the whole house, took care of the kids for school, and cooked everyone dinner. I just sat to take a rest." "So I don't know why you are acting like that." Leo moves closer to his wife. "I want a divorce. I'm tired of you talking, being annoying, and I don't have time for this. I have a company to run." Leo's wife gets up from the couch and hurries to her bedroom and closes the door shut. She cried. A month later, Leo meets his co-worker at a cafeteria and start talking about business. Then, the friend asked about Leo's family. Leo said, "I divorced her. I just couldn't deal with her anymore," says Leo. Leo's friend looks confused. "What made you want a divorce?" "She doesn't care about her health, always being lazy, sleeping on the couch. Not even working out, or at least trying to work out. I am a manager, so I can easily get all the pretty-looking girls at work because I have all the power and money," says Leo. Leo's friend interrogates him. "How long have you two been married?" "For about 14 years, says Leo. "When you married her, was she beautiful?" the friend says. Leo looks confused. "Yeah, why?" "Did she care about her body shape?" says the friend. Yes, she was very skinny and fit. Leo starts to realize something. How about a degree? Yes, in teaching, replies Leo. The friend asks, Did she have any children before you married her? No, replies Leo. The friend has one more question. Did anybody force you to marry her, or was the decision yours? The decision was mine, says Leo. The friend looks at Leo. So back when she was skinny and fit, didn't have any children, and she took care of herself, these changes happened because of you. She loves and cares for you because she sacrificed everything to make her happy, including you. Leo's eyes widen up. But I'm the only one that works. I'm tired of it. Leo's friend explains. She could go back and work as a teacher, but if you think about it, her being home makes everything easier for you because she makes sure everything is clean and ready to go when you get home from work. Now you take her for granted and you divorced her, so you got to go back to her because you have to be loyal to the family. Open up your eyes and see how much good she does for you. You want to change how she looks, but she is still the same person you met 10 years back. Leo just got hit with reality. You are right. I messed up so bad. I need to understand all the sacrifices she made for me and make things right. Leo sprints to his car and grabs flour at a store. He goes over to his wife's house and tells her about how he acknowledges all the sacrifices she has made. They both kiss and unite as a family again.
In this world, there is a student who goes by the name of Alfred, who is the most successful student at the university he is attending. He ranks number 1 in all his classes he is taking and always scores a 100% on everything. This man is on the right path, almost completing his bachelor's degree in business. Every time he gets a perfect score on an exam, he calls up his dad to let him know. Alfred calls his dad saying, "Dad, I just scored another 100% on this test. It was a very challenging one, but I got an A." As Alfred is on the phone, you can hear his dad mumbling, not really paying attention to him. He waits for a response but doesn't get one. The dad mumbles, "That's cool." Then he proceeds to hang up the phone on his son. Once a week, Alfred would call his dad, telling him about his achievements in school. His dad would give him the same response every time, getting worse and worse. A year goes by, and Alfred is months away from graduation. He calls up his dad and asks if he's going to be able to make it to his graduation. His dad responds, "Look, you know how busy I am with my business, so just make sure to record it and send me videos." He then hangs up on Alfred. AJ is sitting in his car in the parking lot on campus. Anger arises over his face. He drives to the campus office and storms inside. He demands the workers to drop all of his classes immediately. The workers said that there would be no refund issued, but that didn't bother Alfred. His best friend Noah sees him in the office and asks him, "What are you doing? We're about to graduate, Alfred." Alfred looks at him, but then rushes out of the office, gets into his car, and speeds away. Now we fast forward a year later. Alfred wakes up to beer cans scattered all over the floor of his apartment, marijuana and cocaine sitting on top of a table, and a bottle of prescribed Xanax. He notices that it is nighttime, so that means it is time to hang out with his friends. He invites his friends over and they're smoking and drinking. Alfred starts to pop 4 Xanax pills as he is drinking. 1 hour passes by and his friends leave his apartment to go clubbing. Alfred is too high to get up and go with them, so he stays. Suddenly, a sharp pain starts to stab him in the heart. He lets out a scream and falls to the floor. Hyperventilating, Alfred grabs his phone and calls Noah. Noah realizes that his old friend is in pain, so he hurries over to him and takes him to the emergency room. They get to the ER and Alfred is put on a machine that helps him breathe. He does not know what is going on, but Noah asks, "What's going on, Alfred?" "Everything was so good. We were going to graduate together and start that business we always wanted to start, but you just went downhill." Alfred is low on breath, but he manages to let out a message. "The only person I cared about in my life was my dad, but he never cared about me. I would always call him telling him how good I was doing in school, but he didn't care. So why should I care about myself? Nothing matters anymore when the one person you love the most doesn't show it back." Alfred starts to hyperventilate. The machine starts to beep louder and louder. Noah screams for the doctors, but it's too late. Alfred is now convulsing, coughing up blood in his oxygen mask, suffocating him. The doctors come rushing into the room, but as they do so, Alfred stops breathing. They pronounce him dead. Noah grieves in the corner of the room, but then decides to call Alfred's dad to let him know that his son has passed away. Noah explains to him why he dropped out of school and started doing drugs. Alfred's dad immediately feels the regret and knows he should have been more focused on his son, but it is already too late. From this day forward, his dad reminds himself every day that he should have been there. He lives with that pain for the rest of his life. This story shows us that words can encourage a person in a positive way. One small gesture can really impact the life of a person when they need it the most.